Hey now, it's Sharon and I'm back to share another policing perspective with you guys. If you're new to the channel, I worked for 20 years for a southeastern city in the US. 11 of those years I was a detective, and I was also in the military. My primary MOS was 95 Bravo combat support, and my secondary MOS was 96 Bravo. And I'm sharing my perspectives in hopes of helping others that might find themselves in similar situations. I'm trying to share a view that you don't necessarily hear all the time or see. And with that being said, I want to share this with you. I remember policing in a neighborhood on the western side of the city, and I had a guy say to me, "I give you an F as a police officer." And I really heard it, but I didn't hear it. And what was I doing? I think I was doing a traffic stop. I don't know why he said he gave me an F, maybe on vehicle mechanics, I don't know, but he said it as he walked by. Okay. Fast forward maybe 2 or 3 years later, another guy, not the same guy, but another guy, he said, "I'm going to give you a B as an officer." And I was on a traffic stop, and he was hurrying to get home because something with daycare, and I heard him out, and I was like, okay, you know, you got to take it easy around these corners and stopping for these stop signs. And he was like, you know, "Thank you, I appreciate it." And he said, I give you a B. And I'm like, a B? But then now I stopped and thought about it as I was driving away. And I said to myself, what if the whole neighborhood could evaluate me, and what would they give me in terms of grade? And I started to think about that. And what I wanted to think was, they'll give me an A. But in truth, from a B to an F, or an F to a B, the 2 or 3 years that passed before I got the grades, if you will, I was wondering, what would the community give me as a grade? And the reason why I say that is because I started to really pay attention on how I interacted with the neighborhood, and how I talked to folks basically, and how I addressed them. And what I found is the neighborhood, if I increase the fear by the way I police in terms of just handling folks roughly or just crudely, or as they say, I'm not even going to use the word, it starts with an N, ends with an I, and you just police that way, you instill fear. And then the community's probably going to give you an F for always instilling fear. Because if I'm supposed to protect and serve, as they say, it shouldn't cause fear amongst the community. And remember, in a couple of videos back, I talked about how sometimes we police, our unit will go into one particular part of the area because we needed to find those quick arrests, quick bodies. And we'd see 4 or 5 other units doing the same thing. And to me, that would instill fear. It's almost like an occupation, military term, if you will, if you think about it. And why would those people give me a good grade if they see 2 or 3, 4 or 5 other units in the same area, picking you up for drinking in public, spitting on a sidewalk, walking in the street when a sidewalk is provided, parked facing the wrong way? I'm just trying to think of the victim of crimes, if you will. And yes, we would go to those areas because it was easy to see and find. But then when we leave the area, because we think of it as an area, but there are people, there are live people, human beings living in that area, what kind of feeling are we leaving them in? What kind of state, if you will, are we leaving them in? Do they feel protected? Or do they feel like, wow, I just violated? And I think they would feel violated back then when we were policing, and there was like 6 or 7 other units, and there are at least 6 to 10 people on each team. And each of us are hunting for the body. So our sergeants don't come down on us, and the lieutenants don't come down on the sergeants, and the higher ups don't come down on the lieutenants, and the mayor's office doesn't come down on the higher ups. That's something to think about, right? I wanted to leave a sense of ease when I would leave the neighborhood. Now, did I do that? I don't know. I don't think so. There's a lot of times when you're going in as a police officer. I need to find this body so my sergeant doesn't mess with my days off, because that's when I make my money as a second job, because I got to pay my mortgage. I got to pay for daycare. That's like a whole mortgage itself. And I don't want the sergeant messing with me to mess with my days off, to mess with my money. So guess what? Now I got to go out here, and I'm going to go to the easiest place that I can find these bodies, these tickets. But then what does it do to the community? And so I thought about that in my own neighborhood. You know, if I'm outside and I happen to be drinking a wine cooler or something, and an officer stops me and gives me a ticket, I don't think I'd be too happy with that. Or if I'm walking in the street, because I just been walking in the street, sidewalks all provided, and someone rolls up to me, you need to get on the sidewalk and where's your ID, and write me a ticket. I'd probably feel like it was occupied, like an invading army occupying my neighborhood, and I'd have something to say about it. So I just wanted to leave you with that perspective. Put yourself in the place of being policed. Yes, we're supposed to protect and serve, but I think the new motto should be, I'm responsible for your safety, not your demise. Because if we keep taking bodies out of the community, and I mentioned this in the last video, you're left with a stoic, sterile community, because everybody's arrested. Grandma down to grandma to the 14-year-old. Everybody's gone. So now we see the blight, we see the dilapidation in the neighborhood, because we all went there as police to get these bodies and we took them out. I just want to leave you with that thought. And I'm going to leave it there for this week. Check out our online store. The link is in the description. I've also created some notebooks for those folks that still like to write with pen and paper. I left the links for those books in the description also, because they're only available on Amazon right now. And remember this, it's not necessarily, let me say this. I'm giving these perspectives just to help. I'm not bashing the police, but I do feel like the police, we get it wrong sometimes. And this is my way of righting a wrong, if you will. I'm not bashing them, because I'm a police officer. I'm pro-police. I'm just pro-growth. I'm pro-learning. I'm pro-understanding. That's what I'm pro for. All right, you guys? You don't necessarily have to go through a thing to learn from it. Talk to you guys later. All right. Bye-bye.